Ascension Symptom Toolkit. So first of all, it really is important that you accept that this is a real process, and as such, you need to honor it. Acceptance is what's really going to help lessen that resistance that we've been talking about today. And it's that resistance which is really contributing to more symptoms, more pressure, more stuckness, and really that associated overwhelm. Recognize that, you are changing, you're growing, you're evolving, you're expanding, and as such, you are going to have different experiences that crop up along the way. And that's okay, it's a journey. Also, I want you to really try and listen to your body. Meet it where it's at. If you feel like you need to rest, if you feel like you need to sleep, if you feel like you need to go for a run out in the fresh air, do that. If you feel like you need to cry and release, do that. Really important to give yourself that time and that space. And also, you may be aware since our last session when we spoke about some of the symptoms and where they are, and the fact that that can correspond with different chakras, and it can indicate where there is blockages in your body and your energetic field. You may start to become aware of where some of those tightnesses are, like corresponding with the different chakras. So, maybe in the solar plexus, like the stomach area, there's a tightness, or the heart area, or maybe in the throat, you start to feel a constriction or a tightness. So really start to focus on moving the energy through those areas. So, you can do things like body work, so such as massage and Reiki, acupuncture, EFT, which we'll look at in a future module. All of these are going to help move energy through the body. Also, you can just close your eyes and you can really tap into your radiance energy. That's that pure potential, that life force, that chi, that prana that's running through our body. We're going to keep talking about this and building upon this in future modules. But, it's like just imagine that beautiful radiance energy that's running through all of you at the most fundamental level. Vibration energy, and you can just imagine concentrating that energy into areas where you feel these blockages and constrictions and tightness. Something that is really, really key is ground and earth daily, if not, hourly, every a few times a day. It is imperative. Get outside, connect with the earth. It's really important for clearing your energy. Walking barefoot in the grass is great. There's even studies out there on its benefits in terms of inflammation, lowering cortisol and stress and things like that. But it's a great way to really ground yourself, connect if you're feeling a little bit off energetically. Even if you've had a session with a client or a conversation with someone or a colleague or something, it might be a good idea afterwards to go and ground before you go and spend time with someone else or another client, something like that. I try and do it a few times a day. For me, and particularly after I've had a call, I love to go and ground and earth. I find it really, really helps me a lot. The next thing, which is really quite big here on in, I want you to try and commit to this daily, really for the rest of your life if you can, but you need to journal. I can assure you it's something I resisted for a really long time. But it is such an amazing way that you can tap into what is going on under the surface. It's like you start to tap in more to your subconscious mind. And we can also start tapping into the inner child. What's yours and what's your inner child, that wounded child that's running the show. And we're going to be looking at that in the next module as well. But the more that you can process, it's just going to help you to really continue to see, what is going on and what needs to be shifted and how you can start, moving through things and clearing the way and, starting to move closer to that which you desire. So, there's this book, The Artist's Way. It's by Julia Cameron, I think it is. And she suggests doing this every morning. She calls it morning pages. And she talks about writing 3 different pages each morning, so it's like you can ask a question, you can be free writing, things like that. Try and do it, first thing in the morning. Even if you can't do it till in the afternoon, that's okay. Or do it, sort of before bed. It's just a great way. And, when anything sort of comes up, you can really just start asking questions and just sort of see what comes out. It's really quite phenomenal in so many ways. I want you to try and practice mindfulness. And I would suggest committing to this daily. And I mean something like meditation. It'll help calm your body, calm your mind. It will help you to connect with your higher self, your guides, and you'll receive more answers and guidance along the way. Next thing is water. Just keep drinking, clean, purified water, 2+ liters a day. Generally, that's okay. Obviously more if you're exercising or it's hot, things like that. I want you to keep drinking because it helps move things through the body. It helps you to clear things. And as you're processing things, it just helps that process. Alkalize. And intuitively, I get this a lot. When we are stressed, and our body can be registering stress as we're ascending because it's, dealing with these different frequencies that are quite new to us, different energies. We're moving things. When there's kind of that resistance, there's more pressure and stress. All those things make our body more acidic. So if you can try and, incorporate more greens each day. I love having greens with lunch, greens with dinner. After I have my 1 coffee in the morning, I always have a greens drink afterwards. So this could be like a barley grass, chlorella, wheatgrass, that sort of thing. Alfalfa is fantastic. Not if you've got lupus, but, other than that, like all these things are very, very nutritive and very alkalizing for the body. So also, as we said with meals, rocket, watercress, lettuces, things like that. The next thing is breath work. There's so many different breath work practices out there these days. Something that you can easily do is the 4-7-8 breath. So this is something, it's, definitely going to help innovate that parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest mode, which is where healing and rejuvenation and regeneration takes place. But, that's just like breathing in for 4, holding for 7, and exhaling for 8. The longer exhalation is what calms that, nervous system. Remember, you're cleansing, you're shedding the old, you're awakening to a higher consciousness in your light body. So that stress, due to the resistance largely, needs to be managed. That breath work can really help that. Another practice you can do is practice breathing from your root chakra up to your heart chakra, and you can move it up to the top of your head, sort of the pineal, like the third eye and the crown chakra. So it's like you're imagining you're breathing, and as you're, moving from that perineum, that root chakra area, you're moving the energy, the breath up, and then you're holding it sort of around that, near the crown chakra, the top of your head, or, your third eye area, and then you're exhaling. There's lots of different breathwork practices. Alternate nostril breathing is also fantastic, where you sort of, you breathe out and breathe in, hold, and then you breathe out. And then you do that again, hold, and breathe out. And you can do a few rounds of that, really calming for the body. Next thing is take salt baths. Epsom salt baths, magnesium chloride baths, even if it's rock salt or Himalayan salt, something like that. Sea salt, swim in the water. It's like some people also like when they first wake up having a little squeeze of lemon or lime and a little tiny bit of sea salt or rock salt. So it just gives you various minerals and it can help hydrate your body. Also magnesium. For most people, magnesium is quite okay. Usually, you've reached your limit when you get loose stools. Really good quality magnesium can make a massive difference. So, there's magnesium amino acid chelates, magnesium glycinates, bisglycinates, taurates, threonates, things like that. Oxide's generally the form that you'll find in most supplements that have magnesium in it. It's the most readily absorbed form, it's a cheaper form, and it's not as well absorbed, however. So, it can be okay. Your body can still use what it needs, but, it's not that well absorbed, that particular oxide form. So we're going to cover this in a later module when we look sort of at nervous system and things like that. But magnesium can help just calm that body, help with stress, help with sleep, help with where there is that kind of tight muscles, that kind of picture, cramps. And of course, as we touched on with the magnesium salt baths as well. And that's quite useful if you feel like you've been around someone that's, left or dumped energy on you. And you'll know that, you might have a conversation with someone, you come away feeling either really depleted or like they just dumped on you. Or maybe you've been around a lot of people or, you've gone somewhere where you feel like it's just not a nice kind of energy. You might want to go and just kind of cleanse your auric field, your energetic bodies. And that or magnesium bath is great for that. Just remember as well that as we're becoming more lighter in terms of our light bodies, we're shedding a lot of the densities. Just kind of remember that, stimulants, addictive substances are going to impact you a lot more. And they're going to decrease your vibration and your connection to your intuition, spirit. So just be kind of conscious of that. I remember years ago, I went to this pub, the Fiddler in Sydney, and I remember it was when I was full on in my psychic, kind of capabilities. And I don't know why, I was doing a reading. A couple of the ladies that I was with asked me to do one. And oh my gosh, like I was, reading and everything was crystal clear and I could see everything. And I was telling her, oh yes, so in your bedroom, you've got this kind of bedspread, and I could see it all in detail, and she was blown away. But afterwards I thought, and I felt awful afterwards. And it was like, why did I do that? This is like it was a really old sort of pub, there'd been a lot of things, there'd been battles there of Vinegar Hill and things like that. So, no doubt there was potentially spirits around there, and I was just tapping into, who knows what. So, I don't suggest that. You just got to be sort of careful with your energy and, don't sort of mix it with alcohol and things like that. Also, daily energetic protection is really a great idea. So this could look like, every day when you first get up, imagining that you have this like Fabergé egg around you protecting you. That's how I like to see it. You might like to see it as something else, but it's really just checking in. And when it pops in my mind, I also do it throughout the day if I feel like I need to, or if I'm going into a place where there's lots of people, or I'm not really going into a situation I don't feel comfortable with. Have your protection all around you. It's like energetically that's picked up and felt by others. So just kind of have that, protection there. You maybe even want to have a prayer for protection. So something like that. You can even have crystals or talismans. We'll be looking at talismans and things like that in module 12. But, they can also be programmed for protection. Sage sticks are fantastic. I'm sure I'll be using it and bringing it out during this course. But sage sticks are great, and it's really good down here actually, because apparently a lot of the sage that's coming is it from local farms. So, and it's, grown and harvested in a way that's, not harming the environment or anything like that. But that can be really good for, going when you're moving to a new place, or you're staying in a new place, or there's been an argument, or, there's just tension, you can just cleanse it. Or if you're feeling just something's a bit off, energetically, cleanse with this sage stick. There's even sage sprays and things that you can make or that you can buy. Even just, use, like say rice that's in a jar, like hasn't been cooked, even just something like that, or, even hitting, a saucepan, like with a spoon or something. It's just kind of using energy and using vibrations to break up the, clumped together energy, the negative energy, the dense energy that's sitting there in the place that you're in. Also, it's great to find a group of people that understand you, like-minded people that are also on this journey. There's various groups, Facebook groups. I've spoken about that Ascension support group. There's over 63,000 people in there. There's human resonance groups and, light language groups. And there's so many different groups out there. And it's really good because you feel like there's others that are on the journey. They get you. You don't sort of feel so different and so alone and so, almost isolated in ways. So, I encourage you to maybe, try and seek out some of these support groups, put it out there energetically that that's what your intention is, and you'll attract it. Now, be mindful of energy vampires. I've kind of touched on it in different things we've discussed so far, but, particularly those that drain your energy. Your energy is your most precious resource. Without it, you don't have anything. So, of course, we're talking about energy a lot in the next few modules. Good boundaries is imperative. This is a big piece of this. And once again, we'll talk about it in more detail. But you need to protect, conserve, and invest your energy wisely. No more saying yes out of obligation or duty. Now, this is a good tip, actually. This was a spiritual Kundalini expert that told me this. If at any point you're feeling overwhelmed with symptoms in terms of, this ascension path, and we've touched on the ascension symptoms, ask spirit, your higher self, to really help slow down the process. And I still do it sometimes when I feel like the energy is just too much for me, or there's too much that's happening or being processed or integrated. Connect with, God, your spirit guides, your higher self. This will help you in the ascension process immensely. It's kind of like it just helps you to keep on top of things and feel like there is, someone that's got your back, so to speak. Obviously, if any kind of ascension symptoms persist, it's new or you're concerned, go and see a healthcare practitioner. Not only just to make sure there's nothing physically wrong with you, but it gives you that peace of mind. Also, I know I had a plethora of tests along the way and saw so many different experts and energy healers and, endocrinologists and adrenal specialists and naturopaths and integrative doctors, you name it. But, as I said earlier, it doesn't replace this kind of work. They can work in conjunction. The key with all of this is the path of least resistance. It is the way to move through the symptoms, to move through the challenges, to move through the seemingly ickiness where it just feels like, at times, like this emotional roller coaster. You're questioning everything. You feel like you just don't even know what you're doing. You don't know what your purpose is. You just feel so overwhelmed, so alone. So, this whole gamut of just different emotions that are coming up. Just kind of, as I said, keep remembering that. Just keep having, that flow. Just keep releasing it, surrendering it, doing this work. Resisting what is happening, it takes up your energy. It takes up your flow. It takes up the healing that we need to be doing the work. And it's like, if you can, be consistent, if you can make time to focus on your spiritual health and well-being every day, that'll also help the journey and make it so much easier. No one can or should do the work for you. That's the thing. It's all well and good to read all the books, do all the courses, but, and even like with this, it's like, I'm going to try and help you as much as I can in so many ways, but you alone have to do the work. It's one of those things. And we've got to remember this is happening for us, not to us. We signed up for this on some level. It's exciting. It's not easy work. Those that are brave enough to do it, it's not easy, but it's rewarding in so many ways. Having that self-discovery and that self-mastery is everything. And it was funny. I was going to say, I remember actually making this vow years ago to not allow myself to feel like this pain that I was going through at the time. It was so painful. I was about 20 years old. I was in my grandparents' granny flat, meant to be studying, and I was crying my heart out over this guy who treated me, really not well at all. Hadn't seen my value, all of that. Mind you, at the time, I hadn't seen my value either. So I kept looking externally for the solutions to fix me. I did this for many, many years. And, it's funny, there's this little story, and I like this. I saw it the other day. And it's this story about this caterpillar that's in this chrysalis. And it's struggling to get out of the chrysalis. But there's this little hole, and this man walks past and he notices what's going on. He can see this struggle taking place. He feels really bad for the caterpillar. So what he does is he gets a little pair of scissors and he snips the end of the chrysalis so the caterpillar can, come out. So the caterpillar turns into this butterfly. But the thing is, it can never fly and it dies because it's like it needed to go through that process of struggle and emergence in order to get that strength necessary to fly and to be this beautiful butterfly, this beautiful metamorphosis. So it needed to go through that to manifest into the butterfly. So the reason I'm sharing that with you is, yes, it can be painful AF, but you do the work. This work that we're going through over the next, 12 weeks together, you will reap the benefits now and in the longer term. Also have gratitude along the way. Gratitude for what's currently working. Gratitude is a very powerful force, very, very high vibration energy. It moves you out of fear. It moves you more into love, into, those high vibrations. Gratitude is so, so powerful. It's like it also teaches your body emotionally that what you're wanting to manifest in your reality has already taken place. It's already been received. Because you know how when we get something, it's like, oh, thank you for that. So it's like you're sort of signaling to the subconscious, oh, thanks, it's already happened. So it thinks it's happened consequently, which is great. Combine the gratitude with that clear intention, desire, and goal. And it's like, it starts to really, come more quickly into your vortex, or you start aligning with it more and more, and you embody that emotion. Wow, you're a powerhouse. See you in the next training.